And we're here again with Pat McGuigan. Thanks for joining us this morning. Pat, you've been doing a lot of reporting lately on education, specifically higher education and the salaries. Why are these stories important?
Well, they're important because of the long-term picture of the state in terms of financing and our ability to sustain programs. It's sort of the state parks issue writ large, if you will, on a much larger scale and with a lot more money involved. Oklahoma government is not right-sized. I think that's an objective statement based on the experience of the last 3 years, where we have continual budget pressure. You can make the argument for higher taxes. It's probably not palatable and achievable, and maybe shouldn't be. So there it is. That's just the fact of it. We're under constant spending pressure, and the state needs to look at ways to get out of that cycle.
Will any reforms come out of your reporting?
Well, I don't know. That'll be up to the governor and the elected representatives, and I'm certainly not the only person that's ever looked at this. I'm just the one looking at it right now. Here's what I would say. The question is the number of sites in Oklahoma education, higher education, including branch campuses of some of the really small institutions, the performance at those sites. It's a very reasonable question to ask. And then looking forward, even if you answer the first two parts of that satisfactorily, is it sustainable for the long term? Those are the questions.
Are these salaries out of range when you compare them to other states?
I think it's important to point out that in any one case, in many of the cases, they're not out of line with what a person with a comparable job title at another institution would have. The problem, the challenge for Oklahoma is the raw number of sites. And then some startling data like this. There's not a comprehensive 4-year institution close to Tulsa, the state's second largest city. Why? The history of this is these regional and smaller institutions set up in part as employment centers in the rural areas. So evolving our state forward is going to require some tough choices, unless we just want to decide we're going to sustain that and let other parts of government suffer and other forms of service suffer.
Now, switching to another topic now, there was a report that came out from the state finance director that says Oklahoma's economy is doing well. What did he actually say?
Preston Doerflinger, who's a moderate kind of guy in his style and his manner, was pretty effusive in his comments the other day about where we are as an economy and as a state. It's important to remember that what Doerflinger deals with on a regular basis each month is just the data that touches incoming revenue that's available for appropriation by the legislature. That's a very important part, but it's only about 40% of the total state government revenue picture. Here's what he said. The Oklahoma economy is a bright spot. Receipts through taxes for the Juvenile Revenue Fund are growing gangbusters. They're very robust. Income, gross production, motor vehicles, sales taxes, with both income taxes and motor vehicle leading the way, but gross production being a very important part of that. We have not only the third or fourth lowest unemployment in the nation, we have the lowest unemployment rate in the region. So this is an area where comparatively we're attractive to workers, and it's bringing some people here. Well, having said all that, getting excited about it, Doerflinger would probably be the first one to say, don't get too excited about it. It's 1 month's data. But you fit it with all these other pieces of information we've discussed previously on Saturday mornings here, and it's pretty good news.
Do you think Oklahoma will continue to be a bright spot?
Very good question. If you listen to not only Doerflinger, but Ken Miller, the state treasurer, and then other economists at the universities, and other analysts, they're pretty optimistic, but national policy will affect us. So the gridlock in Washington and the stalemate over spending debates and taxes versus government spending reduction, all of that's going to have an effect in Oklahoma. The caution here is the same as in the first discussion that we had, and that's affordability and sustainability over time, keeping government right-sized or getting it right-sized and using that as a basis to go forward. Governor Fallin, in her own comments, supplementing what Doerflinger had to say, emphasized that we need to stay on track. They have a pretty strong case to say that. Stay on track. I guess I would add right-sized government.
All right, thank you, Pat, for your insight. And if you want to check out more from Pat, you can go to his website. That's CapitolBeatOK.com.